Okay, so today we are studying multiplication of decimals. Today we are studying multiplication of decimals. So please take out your notebooks and copy your aim, and let's get ready to do the do now. So aim is multiplying decimals. That's what we want to do today. Multiplying decimals. Okay, so multiplying decimals. And do now. Or do now. Or do now, let's do something easy. So find the missing factor. Okay. So first question would be so a certain number, let's suppose I call that number n times, so n times, it'll be a little bit more neat. N times 0.004 is equal to 0.4. So your goal is to find what value of n I multiply by 0.004 to get 0.4. In other words, what number do I multiply? What number, when multiplied with 4 thousandths, give me 4 tenths? And 2, what happens when I multiply some number p by 0.21? Okay, so p times 21 hundredth is equal to 210. So let me know what that value is. So that's your do now. And I'm just going to come around and check to see who's doing their do now. Please do your do now. Okay. So somebody please come to the board and try to explain to us your answers. Okay, so I need 2 volunteers to come to the board to explain to us your answers. Okay. All right. So we're going to use the method in our textbooks. So we are going to turn to our textbooks and we're going to look at some examples. Okay, we're going to look at examples on pages. (72 to 73) of our textbook. Okay, again, your textbooks are located below your chairs. Alright? Okay. So let's look at the problem that they have on page 72. So on page 72, please copy this in your notes also. On page 72, they show us how to multiply decimals, okay? Alright, so if you wanted to multiply 48 by 0.68, or rather you want to multiply 0.68 by 48, you could actually do an estimation. So we know that this is going to be approximately 50 multiplied by 0.7. Again, 48 times 6800th is approximately 50 times 7/10, which we know will give us 50 times 7/10. Well, we know that 50 times 7 is 350. Okay, and we have one decimal place, so that would become 35.0, which is 35. So that's an estimation. Okay. That's an estimation. So we'll just move on now to the actual multiplication. Okay. Okay, you should have that by now. Okay, so the problem that they have on page 72, they have some problems on page 72, and we're just going to be working with a few of them. So let's go back to that problem. 0.68, which is 6800th, multiply 6800ths multiplied by 48. As we saw in the previous lesson, you would multiply 8 by 8 and we would get 64. Put on the 4, and we are carrying 6, and we do 8 times 6. We know that's going to be 48, and we know that 48 and 6 is 54. So we're going to have 54. Alright, now move to the next line. This time you want to actually write 0 as a placeholder, or you can just skip. So you can write 0 as a placeholder if you want, or you can skip. But you have to start right here. So here we start with 4/8. We know that's going to be 4/8 is going to be 32. So you put a 2 down, and you're going to carry the 3. Alright, so 4/8, 32, put a 2 down, carry the 3. 4 6s is 24, and 3, 27. Okay, and again right here I don't write anything. So that empty space has a 0 as a placeholder. If you want, you can write it. It's not a big deal, so you can write the 0 as a placeholder. It's up to you. And now we can find the sum of these numbers by lining them up. So 4 plus 0 is just going to be 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 5 plus 7 is 12. If you put a 2 down, carry the 1, and 1 and 2 is 3. And now, so we're multiplying as if we're doing regular whole number multiplication. Alright, so we're going to look at how many decimal places we have. So if you notice here, this is 2 decimal places. So we have 2 decimal places on the top. We don't have any decimal places in the bottom. At least we don't have any ones that we in a decimal place that we actually need. So when I get my final answer, I have to remember those 2 decimal places. So I move my invisible point 1, 2 here to get my 2 decimal places. So that's my answer, 32.64, as I show you in the book. Alright, so that's how they do that. Okay. Alright, you should have this copied in your notebook. Again, if you missed this, it's actually in your textbook on page 72. So I'm going to erase this now. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I'll do it again. I don't know what just happened here. Alright, so we're going to look at another example. So we want to find the product of 329 thousandths. So 329 thousandths is being multiplied by 2 hundredths, as shown there in the textbook. Alright, so again we're on page 72. Okay, so this is written in your textbook. Alright, so alright, 2 times 9 we know is, well, we can just multiply everything by 2 because the 0 is not really going to add any interest to the problem. So just take 2 times 9, you get 18. So you put on the 8, you carry over the 1. 2 times 2 is 4 and 1, 5. And then 2 times 3 is just going to be 6. Now we're going to count the number of decimal places here. So right here we have 3 decimal places. So right here we have 3 decimal places. Okay, 3 decimal places. And here we have 2 decimal places also. Okay, and when we add those, that gives us 5 decimal places. So in all we have 5 decimal places, which means we start with our end point here. Look at 658 as a whole number. We go back 1, then 2, then 3, but we need to go back 5. So I need some more zeros. This is 4 places back, and now this is 5 places back, so the decimal point is right here. Alright, and then you can put this 0 there to hold the ones place. So obviously 329 thousandths times 200ths would give us 658. That's tenth, hundredth, thousandths, 10,000, 100,000ths. So 329 thousandths times 200ths would give us 658 hundred thousandths. Right? We're going to do another example. Again, this is in your textbook. So if I'm erasing it and you didn't get to copy all of it down, because you might have lost your pencil or misplaced your pencil or you weren't writing fast enough, it's in your textbook, you could still copy it. We're going to look at another one. So we want to find out what the product of, let me get my pen. You want to find out what the product of $72.25 $72.25, and that's been multiplied by 75 hundredths. Alright, so we know the multiplication process. We're going to just treat it as whole number multiplication first, then we're going to add our decimal places. So we know 5 times 5 is 25. So you put 5 down and you carry the 2. And again, 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 12. So you put the 2 and you carry the 1. Now, again, 5 times 2 again is 10, and the 1 would give you 11. So you put the 1 down, you carry the other 1 there. And finally, 5 times 7 is 35, and 1, 36. Okay, so now what we do now is we go down to the second slot and we move across. So there are 2 ways to do it. You can just leave a slot empty right here. So you can leave the slot empty, alright, for the placeholder. Okay, so you can leave that empty for the placeholder, or you can write the 0 in for the placeholder. So we have now 7 times 5 is 35, so put a 5 down and we carry over the 3. 7 times 2 is 14, and 3 17. Put a 0 down and you carry over the 1. Okay, and 7 times 2 again is 14, and 1 15. You put the 5 down and you carry the 1. And 7 times 7 is 49, and 1 50. Okay. Alright. And so we're going to just add everything. Alright. And when you add everything, you're going to get 5 plus 0 is just going to give you 5. 2 plus 5 will give you 7. 1 plus 7 will just give you 8. 6 plus 5 will give you 11, which you put the 1 down and you carry over the 1. Okay, and 3 plus 0 is 3, and 1 4. Of course, you have nothing to add the 5 with. Now we go back to our decimal places. Alright, so we notice here that we have 2 decimal places. I'm going to call that DP. Alright, so we have 2 decimal places. Okay, and also here we have 2 decimal places. I'm going to call that DP. So now when we look at that we have 2 decimal places, we want to find out how many decimal places we have together. So obviously we add them up and we have what, 4 decimal places together. So this is a very important thing that is going to help us to find out how many decimal places we have in our answer, which means that we have a total of 4 decimal places in our answer. So we start from right, just exactly to the right of the last digit, which is in the 1 space here, and we're going to change the space value because this should not be 1 space because we're dealing with decimals here. So 1 place over, 2 places over, 3 places over, and 4 places over. Okay, so our answer is 54 and 1,875 10,000s, okay? Which you just read symbolically as 54.1875. Again, the answer is 54 and 1,875 10,000s. Okay? Alright, and again, that is also in your textbook on page 0 here. We're dealing with page 72. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do a few examples. I'm going to give you a few examples to work on in your group while I come around and check. Okay, so but before I do anything, let's just summarize the steps. So multiplying decimals. Okay, so these are the steps that you just need. Just 2 steps. So step 1, multiply as regular whole numbers. So multiply as regular whole numbers. Okay. And step 2, determine. Step 2 is determine the decimal places. And apply them. So again, you are multiplying the decimals. You're gonna be, step 1 is you're gonna multiply as regular whole numbers. So you're gonna multiply as with regular whole numbers, I should say. You're going to multiply as with regular whole numbers. And step 2, you're going to determine decimal places and apply them. So you're going to find out how many decimal places you have in all, and then you're going to apply them. Alright? Okay. So now we're going to do some problems as a class. I'm going to walk around and see if I help. Well, I'm walking around already. Alright, so okay, so you do numbers. All right. We're going to do numbers 6. Actually, to do numbers 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, you're going to do numbers 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, please do this for a few minutes. I'm going to come around and check. And after we do this, we're going to also work on numbers 1 to 5 as a class, and then we'll do some more after that, as much as time allows. Alright, so if you're finished, you can work on exit slip. It's going to be page 73, numbers 1 through 5. They're not asking you to solve anything here. They're just asking you to write the decimal point in each product. Okay, so that's all they're asking you to write, the decimal point in each product. Alright, so that's it. Enjoy your class. Enjoy the rest of your day.